Hi.
Hi.
Welcome in again.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you. So, anything that you want to talk about this week, or
I was hoping that things would progress differently with my soon-to-be ex-husband, and it's not going positively. We were hoping to do no attorneys, and I'm finding that my dad, who is an attorney, is highly recommending and is not really giving me a choice about having an attorney because I need to protect me and I need to protect my kids.
when you say it's not progressing the way you want, a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being everything is going exactly how you wanted it to, and 1 being this could not be further from what I wanted, where do you think you lie in that?
A 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you come to that conclusion?
I was hoping that things would be progressing, that Mike and I would be moving forward, that we would be in a place now after a little over 2 months that things would start moving towards, we are going to get divorced, we are going to sell the house, we're going to pay off the debt. Every time I've tried to have that conversation with him, it hasn't gone very well. And he just recently lost his job, and I've been having to take over everything, and I'm finding that makes me angry because he doesn't seem to be putting himself to help at all.
It feels like he doesn't want to help, is what I'm
hearing.
Or maybe doesn't know how.
I would think it's more that he doesn't know how. I think that, my personal opinion, he's been coddled and taken care of and has never really had to do anything on his own. And now he's being forced in a position where he has to do it all on his own, and he's not ready. And I want to help. My heart hurts for him, but he's not doing anything to help himself and is expecting me to just take care of it like I always have. And I don't want to do that anymore.
So you feel like if you help, you're going to be hindering him in the long run, is what I'm hearing? Or is it you're going to, if you continue to help the way you have in the past, he's just going to fall into the same old habits as usual?
He's going to fall into the same old habits if I continue to help.
In any aspect?
In any aspect. That the expectation will be, well, Lisa will take care of it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to participate. She'll just let me know what happens. And I had a very difficult discussion with him today about putting money into my own account and from our joint savings and our joint checking, and it was not only recommended to me by my dad, who is also an attorney, but recommended to me by several friends who have gone through this.
Gone through divorces?
Yeah, difficult divorces. I didn't think that this was going to be that, and it is. It's going to be, it's not what I want.
Most divorces aren't smooth.
I wasn't looking for smooth. I was just looking for amicable, dual participation.
Everybody kind of being on the same page with it.
That we are getting divorced. This is how we want to move forward together to make this happen. And I'm finding that it's, again, all on me to manage and take care of. And
so do you think that you managing and taking care of everything is causing undue stress? I mean, since he's not participating at all, is it adding to the stress level that you were already under before?
I don't think it's adding stress, it's adding anger.
Okay. And what's the difference?
Well, stress means that I have some way that I can manage it. There's some
answer
outlet. Mm-hmm. And anger, I'm finding that there's nothing there. There's nothing that I can there's no participation on his side. There's no even more than participation. There's nothing. He's sitting there watching me take care of everything. I'm trying to send a daughter to college. I have an adult son now who is moving in a different direction, becoming an adult, and I have my mom who's going through beginning stages of dementia, and he's sitting watching Netflix all day and yelled at me today about the money and saying that was not what was going to happen, and making a statement like that. It doesn't work for me. It did happen. It's done.
It has happened.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's done. And
do you feel that he deserved a say in what was going to happen to the money?
No.
Or since he didn't involve himself in any of it, that he doesn't get a say at all?
He doesn't get a say at all, in my opinion.
In your opinion?
I've been taking care of the finances for the family for 27 years. Mm-hmm. I've been managing job loss crises and new home and refinancing, and I've been managing that for our entire marriage, and he has not participated once. He doesn't get a say now. I have to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. And he's spending money from the account that we don't have.
So he's taking money that is earmarked for bills and spending it on what, himself?
I don't really know. I know that and I said there's money in there. If you're going to cope with smoking, then there's money in there for you to get cigarettes, and I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he's doing, because he took $38 out for King Soopers, but then he took $60 out in cash, and now we're at $100 that I may need to pay the cell phone bill. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know what our bills are. He doesn't know what's coming up. He doesn't know the circumstances of timing each month on when I need funds, and now there's no income from him. And the argument today was that this is his money too. It's not. This is money that's paying communal bills, and I'm paying the bills. I'm not running out and getting a new Coach purse with this. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding that I'm very angry at the behavior, that he has the gall to behave this way.
Have you tried to incorporate him into helping with the finances, knowing when bills are due? Have you tried to do that in the past?
Yes. Okay. Probably 15 or 20 times.
And I take it hasn't gone well.
I haven't had success.
Okay. That has to be extremely frustrating, because you've attempted mm-hmm. to bring him into the fold with all of that, and to have him, I guess, continuously ignore it or not want to be a part of it. It can be very frustrating, especially when he takes money out that you don't necessarily have. And do you believe he's being willfully ignorant about that?
I don't know. I think that in general, he's a lazy person, not in an office environment. I think that when he was working, he was very knowledgeable about what he was doing and wanting to help his clients. But when it comes to anything in the household, even technology, he gets very angry and yells and screams, and then someone in the house will just step up and take care of it, because we just don't want to hear the ranting and the raving about how the DVD player is not working, or he can't get his phone to do whatever he needs it to do, and we have to be then responsible for managing that. Even trying to teach him how to do it, he he doesn't seem to want to learn. He just figures that if he yells enough that
Someone will
someone
take care
will
of it.
take care of it. Go lie down. Go lie down. Go lie down.
So, moving along from that, I know last week we talked about the potential of moving house and everything that entails. Have you made any progress with that? Has anything happened with that?
I did get information from my dad, and that was one of the key reasons that I needed to have my own account prior to filing for divorce, because my dad wants to help me and to find a new place and to help with debt situations, but he does not want Mike to have access to it at all. And the only way to do that was to open my own personal that Mike won't have access to, so that my dad can be in a position to help me, because if
Do you think that was the best decision?
I don't have an answer, I don't know what the best decision is. My best decision would be I just want out, but I have nowhere to go, and there's a lot of circumstances that surround
Getting out entails a lot more than you
just
thought it
getting
did.
out. Yeah, and Mike is very, very depressed, and he feels very isolated, and it hurts my heart to behave this way, because I don't want to kick him when he's down, but he's not doing anything to help himself, and I can't babysit anymore.
So, throughout all this, we've talked a lot about Mike and everything that he's done. How do you feel about all of this internally? Do you feel happy or relieved that you're getting out, or perhaps more anger towards him about having, making you get out in a sense because of everything that he's done, or is it resentment? Like, what do you feel mostly?
I feel relieved that I have finally taken this step. I should have taken it a few years ago, but I was scared and I didn't know financially how I could manage it. And so I feel relieved in that regard, but I also feel very angry that he was given quite a few chances and didn't take advantage of the chances, didn't appreciate that he'd been given another opportunity, and he still goes into his same habits and sits in front of a television and doesn't participate with the family, but in particular doesn't participate with me, and then has the gall today to get angry at me because I've made a decision, and he's very upset that because my attorney is my dad for the moment, that's all I care about. I only care about myself. I'm not thinking about him, and I'm not thinking about him. I'm trying to remove him from the picture because I have to think about me and my kids. And he...
Do you think that's the best decision right now?
Yes.
Is to focus on you and your children and
yes.
what is best for the three of you moving forward?
Yes.
And in a sense disregard what he's feeling for the time being?
I think that he's still in his self-pity party, and he needs to end the party and to go and do something. When I asked him about looking for a job, he said that he wasn't really looking because he doesn't know if he's going to have a license after his court date this coming Tuesday.
And that court date is for the DUI, correct?
Yes. I personally don't think that he's going to lose his license, but I don't know. it's also no longer my problem,
Mm.
and it's not my responsibility. And he's very angry at feeling. I'm guessing that he's very angry and is feeling that everyone has abandoned him, when in fact he's isolated himself and abandoned everybody else, and not participated or.
So he's done this to himself, pretty much.
I feel that way.
And you feel that he's lashing out because he doesn't think he has done that to himself.
Yes. I don't think that he sees that he's the one responsible for this. And he made the choice to drink and drive, and he made the choice to watch Netflix instead of working. And he's made all those decisions, and it is not my fault. And and it's even more than just tough love. It's just, I have to, for the first time in our marriage, think of me first. And that's not something that I'm comfortable doing. It's not in my nature to put my needs ahead of everybody else's. It's very uncomfortable for me.
It sounds like you're a very selfless person. And
I don't think I'm a selfless person.
Well,
I
but
think
you
I'm
try
high
and
maintenance.
well, you try and put the needs of others before yourself. Try and make sure that everyone around you is okay. Probably before you even look to what you need to do.
I would say it's a combination. Maybe not put everyone's needs ahead of mine, but be aware of everybody's needs. And if they do need to be put ahead of mine, then I will. And if it's not something that has to be put ahead of mine, then
it won't.
I want to go get my nails done, and if someone else needs something, I do take that time for self-care. But I'm aware of what everyone else is going
But it sounds like you weren't able to do that with your marriage.
No.
Am I hearing that correctly?
I feel like I was trained early on in our marriage that his parameters, his needs, his life had to come before mine. And I became very adept at working around what he was feeling, what he demanded, his narrow area of what was going to be okay. I worked around it so that I could still meet my needs. And if he's not a very social person, so I didn't put him into social situations because I knew it made him uncomfortable. But I'm a very social person, so that goes against
your
my
nature
to work around that. He doesn't like meatloaf, and I love meatloaf. And I never made it the entire time we were married because he didn't like it. And it's a lot of small stuff like that that I just adapted to, and it was not in return.
So, did you ever feel like you were putting more effort into the marriage than him?
I don't think there was 100% effort on either of our parts. I just started working around.
Yeah, but that makes it sound like.
So I didn't put effort into the marriage part. I just worked around so that I could meet what I wanted, but not to his detriment. But neither one of us tended the marriage. I think that it's a very common thing when children get older and move out of the house and start building their own lives, that all of a sudden the parents, they don't know how to be together because everything was focused on the kids. And I started recognizing that that was going to be something that could happen to us about 2.5 years ago. And I mentioned that to him. Our son's at college and he's going to graduate soon, and we need to we need to find something that we can start building our marriage back on. Do you have any ideas? And he said, oh, yeah, we should definitely do that. But, yeah, well, you think of something. So I did the recognition part, but there wasn't anyone else
There
that
wasn't a
came to
reciprocation.
Yeah.
There wasn't a reciprocation of that.
No.
He basically came in and was like, "Yes, I recognize that this is a problem. You fix it." Is what I'm
you
hearing.
you tell me what we're going to have in common now. And
So it sounds like a lot of the onus in this relationship was on you to do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned you took care of the finances, you took care of the children, and you were attempting to take care of the marriage, but in that aspect, I think it does take two parties in order to tend to a marriage. I mean, that's what a marriage is.
I also didn't try very hard when I was met with
Resistance.
not resistance, just nothing. I didn't.
So apathy
Yeah.
towards the situation.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
like,
the
yeah,
correct word?
we do need to do that. Yeah. And
So it was more a combination of his apathy and I guess the word would be procrastination.
he is a very reactive type of personality and not a proactive type of personality. And I'm the opposite. I don't like to react. I like to have an idea or a plan or something, as in, our daughter's not graduating for another 2 years. We need to start this now.
As opposed to his reaction might have been, that's 2 years away, we can deal with it in 2 years.
I don't think that he was consciously thinking, oh yeah, in 2 years we'll go ahead and deal with it then. It was, we don't have to do, let's just, whatever. It just wasn't.
So his mind was like, we don't have to do anything right now.
Yeah.
So he didn't worry about it.
And that has been true throughout our whole marriage is, well, that's something that's down the road. We don't have to think about that. As opposed to, I always had to think about it. And what the plan was, what was going to be the next step.
Okay. We talked a little bit about your job last week. Has anything progressed there? Anything changed?
Everything
Positive or negative?
Everything has gone extremely well. Everything
that's
is
some good
moving
news.
forward. I'm able to take care of quite a bit of new responsibilities. We had a woman there that had taken over some of my previous responsibilities. I was noticing that she wasn't doing the job the way I did the job. Not that she was doing it. She also wasn't really doing it. But now that we're moving back into the office a couple days a week, she has opted not to return. She said she couldn't return to the office. And I think that was because she wasn't doing her job. And we have hired a new lady who I think is going to be great.
That's good to hear.
And that makes me more confident in handing these duties back over to somebody. But this last week was very stressful because all the cleanup that had to happen for our month end that was on Friday. But other than that, it's going very, very well. And I'm looking forward to going back into the office, knowing that I still have some days during the week that I can be home, which is, I like that hybrid balance. So I'm excited for that.
Being able to go into the office, have some time away from home, post-COVID, being able to, get out of the house, actually go do your job at your office
with 2 screens and
all the benefits
mouse
that come along
and a
with
typewriter and not on a laptop anymore.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I know that you take care of your kids and you want to make sure that they're okay. So I'm assuming it'll be very nice to have those days at home as well.
I think my kids need me to be out of the house too, in all fairness. I think that they're both adults, and so sometimes it's just a little bit much to have mom 24/7. I go to bed, she's here. I wake up, she's here. All day, she's here, and I want to have that kind of independence. I love her, but yeah, you should go back to the office a couple days a week.
Mhm. I'm
But
sure
still
your kids
also
would agree
have
with that.
the, okay, well, she's going to be home these days, so if I need, something that I need her to be a part of, I know that I have, that those times will come up. But I really think that they're ready for me to not be in the house
To
24
get
7.
back to the office. Well, it sounds like things are moving in a very positive direction, at least at work.
Yes.
Do you think that there's some positivity going to come in the next couple of days or weeks with the divorce?
No.
Or is it all going to be downhill from here?
It's all going to be done. My dad has decided that I have to have an attorney, and I didn't really think that I did until the blow up today, and that I don't want to have these conversations. I don't want to have him screaming at me anymore, and so that will happen in the next week and a half.
Is he going to put you in touch with a lawyer?
Yeah, and he's also going to pay for it. Thank goodness.
Oh, wow. Well, that has to be some sort of load off.
It is, but I don't know what to expect. I haven't had to open a bank account in 30 years. I haven't had to change my address in 20 years. There's a lot of things that are now really resting on my shoulders that I have to take care of that I just didn't have to before. I'm finding that is stressful.
I'm sure.
But then knowing I have family support and I have a great tribe of friends that are going to make sure that I'm okay. And so I'm very blessed with that. But this is not going to be smooth. And I have to accept that he's angry. He's depressed. I can't make that better. And this has to happen. He will only think that it's okay if we reconciled, and we're not going to.
So is he still holding out, or in your opinion, do you think he's still holding out hope on the smallest of chances?
He truly believes the reason we're getting divorced is because of the DUI, and is not accepting that I wanted to get divorced long before that happened. The DUI gave me
It was the straw that
the
broke the
jump
camel's
start.
back,
Yeah, that I'm
kind
done.
of thing.
But I'm confident that things are going to move forward. They're just not going to be positive.
Well, and
For a
it
while.
probably will not be as smooth as you were first expecting.
No.
And that's okay.
It's just hard because I know that he's suffering, and that hurts my heart.
Mhm.
But I can't let it rule me anymore because he's done that for 30 years, and now I'm done.
I was going to say, you've let it consume your every waking moment for 30 years.
Yeah.
I think it's time you finally start to focus on you and your children and making sure that you three are okay and that your kids are, your lives are starting to take the priority, and what you guys want to do takes priority rather than what he wants to do.
And I think all three of us would agree that we can't. And coddle is the only word I can think of, but he needs this opportunity to become an adult as well.
Mhm.
He needs to learn how to take care of himself and to balance a checkbook and to find benefits and to find a doctor, and that he has to start taking these steps for himself. And I want that for him, but it's not going to happen if I am still actively in the picture.
And I know that hurts your heart.
It does hurt.
I know that's going to be tough. But I think it will be best for both of you if you start this process now, and it's most likely going to be rough and ugly and not at all what you were expecting.
Mhm.
But I think both of you will come out the other side for the better. Or at least, I hope so.
I want to come out the other side for my better, and that's what I have to focus on, and I have to stop focusing on if he doesn't come out the other side, or if he does come out the other side. That is no longer
Your concern.
my responsibility.
Well, thank you for coming out. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem.